So the main question is answered. It was set here for us.
Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm so excited here to be at the first Hyvä Dev Paradise. Please give a round of applause to Andrea and Nacho for this amazing event, please. Woo! Thank you. So I'm sharing here a stage with Sergej. Hi, how are you? So basically we are going to talk about one of the main challenges that most of the developers and merchants are facing, which is basically handling big fat catalogs, okay, while preserving performance and fast user experience, right? So for those who don't know me, so I'm Rodrigo. I'm the head of the engineering department at Interactiv4. I've worked for now, I think it's about 15 years with Magento, and I work closely with projects where one of the main focus is preserving the performance and also being able to manage that amount of catalog, right? So Sergej, how are you? I believe one or two of these people in the audience maybe will know you, but
Probably.
please, could you give a little bit introduction and what
Oh,
Amasty
it's
does?
fine. Yeah, it's fine. I believe that not everybody already personally met me, but I'm looking forward to see every of you and discuss how Amasty can help you to make your business more prosperous, less maintenance, less headaches, and more happy clients. So I'm CEO and CPO of Amasty, and I'm here going to help Roger to elaborate how Amasty can help you tackling large catalogs.
Perfect. So let's set up the scene, right? So from the audience, how many of you have worked on projects with 100K and above products? Okay. So could you name some of the troubles, challenges that you have faced? Sorry? Indexers, perfect. Anyone? Price. Price. Good. Okay. Cash problems for sure. Sorry, say it again? Absolutely. Performance in general, right? So yeah, so mainly this is what we faced, right? We have recent projects at Interactiv4 that we faced these kind of problems. Sergej, I don't know, from your experience, what Amasty could help on merchants in that kind of projects, situations?
Yeah,
What do you
usually
think?
when people, let's say, taking a look at extensions, they all look this like the same way. But the case is that normally in majority of websites, there are not so many products, rules, I don't know, stores and so on. So it couldn't generate so much volume to understand the difference. But then when large client comes and he has 10 times more rules or attributes than any other, it's experiencing different issues, like from indexing speed. A product page can load very slow, or for example, with product feed, it can load like not for even minutes, sometimes hours, but it's not the regular experience, and sometimes it doesn't work as expected when you scale in the client.
Right, so we usually blame on the platform, right? We ever do that. But the reality is that the implementation and knowing exactly how the platform works, I think that's key in order to implement solutions on that situations where you can face with this kind of catalogs, right? So we have some projects, for instance, for the first one, it's Atida Mi Pharma, which is a parapharmacy online store. They have 50K plus products. They have a huge amount of traffic, okay? And they have a very complex business logic, okay? That they have many third-party services, many different systems, integrations, and so on. And one of the key things of the project was the migration, not only of the data, but of the functionality itself, had to be done in 3 months, okay, from Spryker, because the license was expiring, to Magento. Another project that we faced a lot of problems with the catalog also, it's Greenland MX. They sell any kind of spare of motorbikes, okay, anything, you can name it. They have a huge catalog, 250 plus products, 250K plus products, and 9 store views and growing because they are in full expansion. They don't have that much traffic because basically it's from Spain and now they are growing around Europe. But you can imagine that amount of products, right, with that amount of store views can create headache, right? So basically, this is what we faced, but before having the data to the platform, to Magento, okay, there is a process where you need to migrate that data, right? So before having problems on Magento, you have to face a lot of problems, also a lot of challenges on the migration of the data, right? So at Interactiv4, for instance, we came up with a strong and bulletproof process where we structure the migration in phases. Okay, we have an analysis phase where we analyze the structure of the data. Okay, we try to map with Magento data structure. Okay, after that we do some cleanings. Okay, some data it's old, not needed, legacy, or maybe the data is in other systems, you don't need it in the platform, and blah blah. And after that, we have a very robust model, custom model that can take data from any kind of source, CSV, files, database, platforms, and put it into Magento. Okay, so this together creates a very robust process where you can ensure that the catalog, at least, it's migrated robustly into the platform, right? And after that, it comes the functionality, right? So, Sergej, here.
So both of these projects were very unique for us because when we started working with Arida project, it was, let's say, early stage of Hyvä, and we were just starting releasing compatibilities. Half of our compatibilities were not ready when the project started. So Arida was the first beta user of our improved layer navigation. Like the same was like for labels and other modules. So they were designed especially for this client first. We made sure that clients satisfied with the result, and only then we made them publicly available. So it was the first challenge. How agency and extension provider can work together to make seamless experience for the end user, for the client. And another experience was with Greenland, when guys had super large catalog, and we experienced some issues that we tackled together and understood together that are not typical to smaller catalogs. For example, when you have a lot of brands and you have to update in time to time, it could trigger reindexation of the catalog. Like if you want a brand provider, doesn't matter. But when you have thousands of products and brands, and every time it triggers update, it can like impact your infrastructure dramatically. The same was like indexing time for the catalog. And working together, we made sure that indexing time was reduced from 6 hours plus for product labels to like 15 minutes. And the same was for our experience with brand indexation. So we made sure that only specific subset of products that were really impacted will be reindexed instead of reindexing the full catalog. that usually it's not a problem, but like taking into account that there are known new regulations about, let's say, requirements about product existence and branding, I believe every European customer at the moment needs to specify something for every brand they sell on their websites. And it could be the case when there are a lot of updates, triggering, let's say, unexpected load in your system. So basically, that's it.
Yeah, basically that's it, right? So, and of course, the framework that was chosen was Hyvä for the front end, obviously. So let's connect the dots, right? So we were talking about huge catalogs, basically backend optimizations, but why? So basically, because if you want, of course, a fast store, okay, you need not only a fast front-end framework, but obviously a fast backend, okay, because you cannot have a fast store without a fast backend. So here, connecting the dots. So we are gonna name some takeovers, okay, that we really identified and we applied, and right now we are applying in all our projects with that amount of catalogs, okay, that for sure it will also be very useful for any developer here in the audience, that I'm sure it will be used in the future with you. So for instance, problems like indexing, like Sergej was mentioning, we discovered last year that Magento out of the box have a multi-thread indexer, okay? So you can allow multi or parallel indexation of some of the indexers, okay, in order to index your store faster, okay? This is not allowed for all the indexers, but for the main indexers, for instance, catalog search or price indexer. So this is huge time saver, okay? Together with the fix with labels, we came from 6 almost hours of indexation up to 15 minutes, okay? So you can imagine. And I'm talking about with the catalog of 250K plus products, okay, with 9 stores. Another problem that we faced with Redis, actually, was a high consumption of Redis network, okay? Redis usually it's something, it's there, it's caching, it's working, but it's very, very useful, especially when you have that amount of catalog, to optimize it very, very good, okay? So, for instance, we faced one problem that we were using one Hyvä component to load CVG files, okay? So that was fine, and then we discovered a huge consumption of Redis bandwidth, okay? So after analyzing and going to the logs and so on, we discovered that we were loading CVG files from Redis, okay? So it was a quick fix. Instead of loading CVG files from backend, you load it from the front end, and then the CDN will do the rest. So we save half of the bandwidth just with that quick fix. But these things that you have to look at the logs, you really need to go deep and debugging the queries that you're doing, how you're doing, and also trace all the transactions that happens in your website in order to understand everything that is doing in the cache system, in the database, in the code, and so on. So basically, I don't know, from the audience, do you have any advice, any takeover that you would like to share with us here that will be useful for the audience? Nothing that you faced? For instance, asynchronous catalog update, super useful and super needed for big fat catalogs. So be in control of how you update the products, okay? And make sure you update it in a synchronous way, not affecting transactionals, okay? Transactional request to the site. And that's pretty much more or less what we faced and how we overcome all these problems in the projects. And of course, all these learnings we are applying right now in all our new projects that come.
Yeah, one small thing to add from my side, that at the moment, Amasty treats as a priority every client you have, like that probably can have performance issues. So at the moment, prioritization of our roadmap built this way that at first we treat everything related to performance and your, let's say, improvement requests of the existing code, so it means like basic quality. Then everything what relates to compliance, what Vinay said today, like we already built in our roadmap, CSP, let's say staff and compliance, accessibility, and only then we taking up new products, new features, integrations with other products, and so on. So if you have any challenges trying to understand like why I'm not able to provide green metrics for my client for the large catalog, it's definitely what we're looking for. We're looking for this feedback to improve our products and make Magento great again. Thank you, Trump, for this slogan. So basically, what we are looking, it's not about us versus them. It's how to make ecosystem prosperous and competitive. So basically, we built in partnership and how we're going to drive this community, this ecosystem together. As Matt mentioned, we shouldn't count on Adobe to help us to promote. We're here together to make it happen.
So yeah, so the results of timing up with Amasty in this case, right? So are obvious. So together we fixed and we identified quite a lot of challenges, especially with big fact catalogs. So the results were obvious and you can see, right, achievements of the migrations of Atida and also Greenland were very successful. Okay.
So basically, as you see, someone said yesterday that total cost of ownership is worse with Magento. No, it could be better than for Salesforce platform. Yeah? Performance, like there are a lot of cases for every platform where performance is not the best, let's say, metric you can show. But there are a lot of great cases what you can show that platform is capable to work with large catalogs with an acceptable performance level. And it's scalable solution that also like sometimes called an advantage of Shopify Plus. Keeps your business growing. Magento also can keep your business growing and make it flexible, but without extra percentage paid for every new order you make. And it's a huge difference.
Okay, your time, I don't know, you have any questions, anything, any doubt? So, yes, over there. Can you give a microphone, please? Or just shut out?
Sorry, I was having a nap. Who had their hand up? Sorry.
How you deal with this amount of data about the stock or product updates and these kind of things?
Yeah, so this is basically product updates, right? So it's controlling how you update, and especially doing it in a synchronous way, it's key here. So we have also very good integrations, okay, very thoughtful, and we control all the process when the product update comes, and then the data changed, and then how this is re-indexed, and also the catch or the catch is flashed. So if you can control all these actions, in this kind of catalogs, it's the only way to go. So basically, we do that. We not only do that with big catalogs, we do that at Interactiv4 for all our integrations. So controlling the integration, not relying on, by default, the product updates of Magento, it for sure it will succeed in that.
Thanks.
Do we have any other questions?
Here,
At the front, you're making me run around a lot today.
Sergej, yeah, you mentioned that you already prioritize performance improvement in your extensions, but now that you have this experience with large catalogs, do you also proactively test your extensions on large catalogs?
Yeah, we in fact let's say adopted the approach that Adobe recommends for the marketplaces when we are using the tool that emulate the load, like constant, like growing of number of orders, attributes, rules, depending on the nature of the product, and see how the product behaves on the growing load. What is the basic mantra for every extension for the last 2 years? It's just to make sure that every next release improves performance, or at least remain it in the same level, if like we're satisfied with level of performance. We are banning release of new versions of the extension if the performance downgrades. So then we're reverting it back and making extra development. Like sometimes we have to rebuild the part of the extension, and then we mark it as, let's say, unrevertible compatibility changes, and we introduce something new in the code just to make sure that we're able to maintain at least same level or better level of performance for the new versions and new functions of the extension. So it's at the moment, for the last 2 years, it's a basic part of the process that we test every extension backend wise and front-end wise for performance indicators.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Well, then thank you very much, both.
Thank you.